Life, in all its activities, wherever it manifests itself, is God in action. It is due to lack of knowledge on how to apply thought and feeling that human beings are always barring the path to the essence of life. If it weren't for this, life would express its perfection naturally and everywhere. The natural tendency of life is love, peace, beauty, harmony, and prosperity. It doesn't care who uses it. It is always emerging to increasingly manifest its perfection, always with that vivifying impetus that is inherent to it. I am is the activity of life. It is strange that the most dedicated students do not always understand the true meaning of these two words. When you say, I am, truly feeling it, you open the source of eternal life so that it flows without barriers along its path. In other words, you open the door wide for your natural flow. But when you say, I am not, you close the door on that great energy. I am is the full activity of God. I have placed before you countless times the truth of God in action. I want you to understand that the first expression of any individualized being anywhere in the universe, whether in thought, feeling, or word, is I am, thus recognizing your own victorious divinity. The student, in trying to understand and apply these powerful yet simple laws, must maintain close watch over his thoughts and expressions. For every time someone thinks or says, I am not, I cannot, or I do not have, they are stifling the great presence within, whether consciously or unconsciously. It's as concrete as putting your hands around someone's neck. However, in relation to an external form, thought can cause the hand to let go at any moment, while in making a declaration of incapacity, impossibility, or lack, unlimited energy is set in motion which continues to act until a person even interrupt it and transmute the action. This shows the immense power you have to qualify, determine, or direct the way you want God's great energy to act. And I tell you, dear student, that dynamite is less dangerous. A dynamite charge will just disintegrate your body, while ignorant thoughts launched without control or direction bind you to the wheel of reincarnation for an indefinite time, that is, as long as a decree remains uninterrupted, transmuted, or dissolved. It continues to prevail for all eternity and by the determination of the individual himself. Therefore, you will realize how important it is to know what you are doing, as you will be employing the most powerful and divine principle of activity in the universe, that is, the I am. Don't get me wrong, this is not a superficial foreign Eastern expression or idea, or any exaggeration. It is, neither more nor less, the highest principle of life used and expressed through all civilizations that have ever existed. Remember that the first thing every self-conscious life form expresses is I am. It's much more than I exist. It is later, in his contact with the outside world and with incorrectly qualified activities, that he begins to accept lesser things than I am. Now you see, dear disciple, that when you say I am sick, you are deliberately denying the natural perfection that makes up the life process. You don't realize that you are associating it with something strange that you never had. Through long centuries of ignorance and misunderstanding, humanity has saturated even the atmosphere around it with falsehoods and realities. I don't need to repeat to you that when you announce, I'm sick, you are clearly lying about divinity. She and I am can only be perfect and full of life and health. I ask you, beloved student, in the name of God, to stop using these false expressions about your divinity, because it is impossible to achieve freedom as long as you continue to use them. I cannot emphasize enough to you that by truly recognizing and accepting the great presence of God, the I am, within you will categorically no longer have adverse conditions. In the name of God, I implore you that every time you find yourself starting to say or comment that you are sick, poor, or in other adverse situations, you immediately reverse this detrimental condition to your progress and mentally declare, with all the intensity of your I am, that he is all health, prosperity, happiness, peace, and perfection. Stop granting power to external conditions, to people, places, and things. The I am is the power to recognize perfection in everyone and everywhere. When you think of the expression, I am, it means that you already know that God is at work expressing himself in your life. Do not allow false perceptions and expressions to continue to dominate and limit you. Constantly remember, I am, therefore, I am the action of God, I am life, prosperity, truth, already manifested. So, as you remember this invincible presence, keep the door open for the I am presence to bring its outer manifestation, all its perfection. By God, don't believe that you can keep making negative statements and that somehow they will correct themselves and you will manifest good things. Because it is impossible for that to happen. At rodeos, they use irons to brand cattle with fire. I wish I could mark you with the iron that fixed in you the I am, and that you could not deviate from the constant use of that great and glorious presence that you are. As soon as any less than perfect condition appears in your experience, declare vehemently that it is not true, and that you accept only God, perfection, in your life. Each time you accept false appearances, you will have them expressed and manifested in your life and experiences. And it's not about whether or not you believe what I'm telling you. This is a law proven through ages of experience. Today, we hand it over to you to set you free. You know that the Western world likes to fool itself with the idea that it is enough not to believe in or accept the ancient Eastern notion of witchcraft to be free from it. Witchcraft is nothing more than the inappropriate use of spiritual powers, the same ones we use for good. The worst kind of sorcery is employed today by politics with the use of ill-qualified mental power. If this same tremendous force were used in the opposite sense, that is, to remember that the action of God is in every person who holds an official position, he who uses it in this way would not only free himself, but also fill the world. Political freedom and justice. And soon we will live in a natural world where God's action would prevail at all times, as it was in Egypt, is today. Those who misuse mental power bind themselves to disharmony, incarnation after incarnation. Establish a purpose for yourself. I do not accept or adopt conditions from other people's environment or anything that surrounds me, only from God, from good, from my own self. You need to get into the habit of governing your energy. Otherwise, feel yourself several times a day and calm down. Silence your exterior. This allows energy to be supplied to you. Learn to direct and control it. If you want your energy to be still, be still. If you need it active, be active. You need to face situations and rise above them. The student must be careful to recognize his habits in himself and must not wait for someone to tell him this. He must examine himself and eliminate everything that is not perfect. The way to do this is by declaring that you do not have this or that unwanted habit and then stating, "As I am God's creation, I am a perfect child of God." This provides a release that cannot be achieved in any other way. Keeping to old customs is like wearing old clothes. Remember, you shouldn't wait for someone else to remember you. No one can do this for you. You need to do this for yourself. In this work, this teaching, and this radiation, all the old things in the individual arise to be consumed. Before complaining about everything you experience or feel in your world, remember that they appear so that you can eliminate them, so that you can transmute them. Be careful not to focus your attention on those things you want to get rid of. It's ridiculous to dwell on things that didn't work out. Isn't it wonderful that after centuries of building limitations for yourself, you can in a short time clear them and free yourself through your own attention and effort? Isn't it totally worth it? The quickest way to achieve this is to use humor. The light and relaxed feeling that love provides allows you to make wonderful manifestations. If you strive and invoke the law of forgiveness, you can consume all the evil creations of the past with the transmuting violet flame and be free. You must be aware that the violet flame is the active presence of God in action. When you feel a desire to do something constructive, do it, dedicate yourself, and achieve it. Even if the world seems to be falling apart, whether or not you will see the manifestation should not worry you. Even when students only know things intellectually, they should not allow their minds to constantly go back to bad or wrong conditions. They know that this activity undermines success. It's amazing that people don't control this enemy. No student can succeed until he stops returning to the negative conditions he is trying to overcome. The main job of a master is to try to make the student understand what it means to accept what he mentally agrees with. This is accepted by him. If he focuses his attention on something, he will be uniting, identifying with it, whether good or bad. When the mind accepts or agrees with something or condition, the individual is decreeing it. If you like the content you just heard, subscribe and leave a like. We are leaving 2 videos for you to choose one of them and go even deeper into your journey.